Not long ago, I wrote the article, Chinese Character User is the Knife That Cuts the Relationship Between China and Taiwan, and discussed that only when the concept of Chinese character user replaces the related concepts such as Chinese, can we get away from the debate of the tangled paste jar. This article, from the perspective of civilization, may be regarded as a sequel to that article. There is a paragraph in that article, the Chinese characters users are all over the world. Can be divided into two parts, its largest population of about 1.4 billion people living in today's People's Republic of China, hereinafter referred to as Group A, the second part of the total of about 50 million to 60 million people, living outside the PRC, hereinafter referred to as Group B. Since the Chinese characters carry thousands of years of accumulated literature, classics, literature and poetry, from Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism, novels, dramas, to the idioms, it is inevitable that there is something in common in the consciousness and thinking of the users of Chinese characters, namely the cultural bond. This is the structure of the human brain, just like the Anglo-Saxon word, commonly known as English users, no matter where the earth, can't not open up a certain cultural bond. For a prominent example, the cultural bond between English-educated blacks in South Africa and English-educated whites in New Zealand is much greater than that between Spanish whites and French-speaking whites in Quebec. Civilization, this word, is translated in Chinese as wenming. It was highlighted by the concept of words rather than blood, seed, or ancestor. It has some profound significance, because the bonding power by words is far beyond the bonding power by blood, race, language and the ancestral origin. Therefore, the groups A and B in the aforementioned Chinese character circle have the ties of civilization, no matter they are in any corner of the earth. Having said that, because of historical circumstances, the Group A and Group B lived under different political systems. But this is not uncommon, as the regions that also accept French education, the democratic political system in France and the totalitarian political system in Africa, are also at odds with history. Judging from the unity of political system in civilization, the English civilization circle is the most unified. In the English circle, we can hardly think of a country without democracy, freedom and rule of law. Comparatively speaking, Spain, the birthplace of Spanish, has embarked on democratic and freedom and rule of law. However, the Spanish countries of South America are still living under the totalitarian or centralized political systems. Despite the Spanish users in Groups A and B have some common cultural bond outside the different political system. Looking back at the Group A and B in the inner circle of Chinese characters, it is obvious that they are in the competition of political system and even conflict while sharing some kind of civilization ties that come from Chinese characters. The independent Taiwan, which is not under the jurisdiction of the People's Republic of China and has a population of 23 million, which is the largest one of the Chinese character group. The particularly interesting is that Chinese character users span at least a dozen ethnic groups, even dozens of them. In terms of religion, all religions in the world are more or less at least one in Taiwan. And Taiwan is also the most tolerant of gender values in Asia. In short, Taiwan is the most inclusive treasure place in the user circles of Chinese characters on the earth. In terms of the rule of law, despite some shortcomings, Taiwan is undoubtedly the most democratic and free place in the circle of the Chinese characters users. We really don't know whether the PRC, Group A in the circle of Chinese character users, will one day step into the political system of democracy, freedom and rule of law. Maybe yes, maybe no. But if PRC is intentional to go in this direction one day, then Taiwan will become the head of wild geese of billions Chinese character users. In terms of size, population and economy, the PRC is definitely the head of wild goose in the Chinese character circle, while Taiwan is far behind. There is no doubt about that. But a century of geomancy turns, from the perspective of political system development of future civilization. Taiwan may also become the head of wild geese, followed by Hong Kong and Macau, and the original head into the tail. Because the PRC has found its orientation on the earth economically and militarily. but it has not yet found its orientation at the level of human civilization. Within the circle of Chinese characters users, Taiwan belongs to Group B, with a population of only 1/60th of Group A and an area of only 1% of Group A. However, in terms of the stability of the political system, its matter is not the size, but the structure. An unbalanced 100 floors building, when the earthquake comes, its robustness is definitely not comparable to a 2 floors building. Taiwan must not be self-belittling. As you know, the power of text is beyond everything. The same as the use of Chinese characters. As long as your Chinese characters carry the idea and experience of attraction, you will eventually become a leader as wild geese. Taiwan today needs to be vigilant about 2 things. 1. Self-destruction of the political system civilization. And 2, the ability of Chinese characters not enough to carry your ideas and express your experience. If Taiwan can improve its political system and the ability to use Chinese characters, the possibility of becoming a leading goose will be greatly increased. The above is the flying geese theory of the political civilization of Chinese character circle.